Now, let's work this out properly. Can someone actually take your drone off you? And I don't mean are they physically capable of doing it. I mean, can they lawfully take your drone off you? Like a random person, a landowner, somebody who just doesn't like what you're doing. Well, no, they can't. There's nothing in law that gives them that right. And if they try, they're the ones stepping over the line. That's the first thing to get clear. But it's not the full picture, because there are people who can, and this is where it changes. The police. Now, this isn't just my opinion. This is the law. They can tell you to land, they can stop you, they can search you, they can take your drone, and if they want to, they can arrest you. Now, if they can do this, if they believe something's not right. So straight away, it's not just about someone being annoyed about you anymore. It's about authority. Now, here's the bit that people often don't really understand. It's not random. They don't just walk up and say, right, I'm having that. There has to be a reason. It's what the law calls reasonable suspicion. Now, you may have heard that term before, especially if you're a fan of some auditor channels. A lot of auditors constantly talk about police having to have reasonable, articulable suspicion. In plain English, it just means if the police think you've done something wrong. And that could be flying somewhere you shouldn't be, getting too close to people, not following the proper CAA regulations, breaking privacy laws, breaking a bylaw. And once you've crossed that line, you're not in control of the situation anymore. That's the shift. And here's where it gets really uncomfortable. Because you might be thinking, right, the worst case scenario is I lose the drone for a couple of days. But it's not just you losing the drone for a couple of days. If they take it, they can go through everything on it. Your photos, your footage, your flight logs. Now, if you have been flying somewhere and accidentally flew beyond visual line of sight, slightly above 120 metres, or too close to people or buildings for the class and category of your drone, that will be in your logs and they can look at it. All of it. So now you're not just dealing with losing a bit of kit for a couple of days, you're dealing with all of the repercussions of every previous flight that you've had that is logged and may not have been in strict compliance at every single stage with the law. Now, let's deal with one of the biggest myths that I hear all the time from people who have occasionally confronted me. You're over my land, they tell you. I can take your drone or shoot it down, they tell you. No, they can't take your drone. They certainly can't shoot it down, but we're only talking about can they take your drone at the moment. There's nothing that gives a landowner the right to take your drone. They can complain, they can shout, they can argue with you, they can phone the police, but they can't take your drone. And if they do, they've just created a problem for themselves, not you. So there's a middle ground to think about here. Security, event staff, people in high vis who look like they're in charge. They might act like they've got authority, but they haven't, not in this context. They can tell you to stop, they can ask you to leave, they can escalate it by phoning the police, but they can't just take your drone off you. That line is clear. Now, this is where some people can get caught out. You're flying. Someone confronts you. You stand your ground. Fair enough.
I
Get an
can't
idea?
tell you what the detail is?
No, I can. I know it. I know the details.
Okay. Well, you show me what law justifies you from using one of those devices in an area that is a special scientific
Do your own homework. do your own homework. Do you know when the nesting season is here?
Yes.
When does it finish?
September.
What is this month we are in now? What month?
Winter.
What month are we in?
25, 26.
No, that's a year. What month are we in?
November.
Right. When does the season end?
September.
This is November. Out with the season, out with the nesting season. There are no flight restrictions for the wildlife here. Were you aware of that? No, you had no clue.
No.
No, you had no idea. What are the restrictions on flying a
I
drone
don't
here?
need to talk to you anymore.
Go away then.
I'm going away.
Good, go away.
Because
Go away.
You take your...
But then the police turn up, and now it's a different situation. Because if you dig your heels in, refuse to land, and start arguing the point, you might think you're right, but you've just changed the situation. And at that point, you're giving them a reason to do things that you don't necessarily want them to do. And once that happens, you're not in control anymore. And if they do take your drone, that's it. You're not just getting it back the next day. It can sit there for weeks, months. Sometimes you might not even get it back at all. That is the reality. That is the reality of it. So if you strip all of this back, it's actually quite simple. Most people, they've got no power to take your drone. Police, under the right conditions, they do. And that line is everything. Because if you don't understand it, you won't see the problem until it's too late. So the next time somebody tells you, I'm taking your drone, you'll know whether they actually can or whether they're just beating their gums.